Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today we're taking a look at another of Funko's Game of Thrones Legacy Collection 6-inch action figures, with a look at the new Tyrion Lannister figure. This is figure number 2 in the series, and like with all the other figures in this first wave, it comes in pretty standard window box type packaging, very similar to what we've seen with like the Star Wars Black Series and such. So at the top we've got the Game of Thrones and the Legacy Collection logos, the number 2 since this is the second figure in the series, then the figure's clearly displayed in the box, and then down below we have the Lannister family crest, and then the name of the character. And on one side we have another window so you can see the figure from the side, and then the other side we have again the Lannister family crest and the Game of Thrones title. And then on the back we have a picture of Tyrion from the television series, along with a listing of all 6 figures in the first wave. Okay, so let's get the figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and for the most part I think this is a pretty decent looking figure. I haven't had any significant quality control issues like I have with some of the other figures in this line. And I think the likeness to the actor is pretty good. It's not 100%, but it's close enough that you can definitely tell who it's supposed to be based off of and everything. So I think the likeness is decent, unlike the Ned Stark figure, which I thought was horrid. There's some decent paint apps on the figure. You can see like on his face, if you look up close, he's got some like shadowing for like 5 o'clock shadow. Looks like, or maybe some dirt. Looks more like 5 o'clock shadow to me than dirt. And then he's got some nice texturing on the hair, which I think looks good and very true to what the actor's hair in the TV series. Then he's got things like he's got this removable chain thing that you see him wearing sometimes in the show. It comes on the figure, but you can take it off to slide it up over his head. Then he's got some detailing on the armor. He's got like the little lion's head on the armor, and then again on the sides on his shoulder pads. And the shoulder pads are made with a softer rubbery type material, so it doesn't hinder the movement of his arms too much. Now I would probably recommend caution. I haven't had any issues, but I could see you possibly being able to knock these shoulder pads off fairly easy, so just be cautious when you're moving the arms around and stuff. And then again on the bottom part of the armor around his waist, it's a soft pliable material, so it doesn't hinder the movement of his legs too much, which is nice. And then he's got some nice detailings like on his boots. You can see like the laces or the ties or whatever they are on his boots. He's got these wrist guards that also have like little ties on it, so just some nice detailing there. This figure stands at just about 4.5 inches tall. It's definitely the shortest figure in the first wave. Here he is next to Jon Snow, just to give him some height comparison. And then here he is next to a Marvel Legends, the Puck Build-A-Figure. He's a little bit taller than Puck. And then here he is with the R2-D2 from the 6-inch Black Series from Hasbro. And he's also a bit taller than R2-D2. The figure comes with 2 accessories. As I mentioned before, he has this like little chain necklace thing that goes around his neck. It's got some little bit of detailing. Looks pretty much like you see in the TV series. And then he comes with this battle axe, which again is pretty nice detailing. It's got black handle with some like bead type work on the handle, which is pretty nice. And then the blades, you've got some darker silver and then some lighter silver on the edges to kind of give it that more sharp look. And then the plastic on the blades are very thin, so it definitely looks nice and sharp. But one thing I would caution is because the plastic on those blades are very thin, I could see you easily being able to snap them off. So especially like when you're taking it out of the package, just be careful because the blades are kind of tucked into the blister packaging and you don't want to pull too hard and snap the blades. So for articulation, the figure's got pretty good articulation for the size. The head's just on a ball joint, so he's got a little bit of up movement and some down movement, but not too much. And then he can look left and right with no problem. And then his arms are attached with standard ball hinge joints, so he's got pretty good rotation. And like I said, he's got these shoulder pads which are soft, but basically they don't really hinder the movement, so he can still bend his arms out pretty good. He's got a swivel single hinged elbow, so he can bend his arm about that much, and then he's got swivels at the wrist that also have hinges, so he's got good up and down movement. Also, both hands are sculpted in an open position, so he can hold his axe in either hand, which is good. And you can even get him holding the axe in two-handed positions, which is pretty nice. There is no midsection articulation. The armor, chest armor, kind of comes down over his waist, so they did not give him any kind of articulation in the midsection. A swivel joint maybe would have been nice if they could maybe have gotten it under the soft pieces. And then the legs are attached with ball joints, so he can do the splits pretty good. And then he can do his leg out. He's got pretty short legs, but he can still get them out. And then he gets them back about that much. And then he's got a swivel at the knees, and then a single hinged knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. And then he's got the, he's got swivel at the boot cuff. And then he's got the hinged ankle pivots. So even though he's a shorter figure, he does have pretty good articulation. The only thing really missing is the midsection joint. And I can understand not giving him an ab crunch, but like I said, if they'd given him at least a twist at the waist, that might have been good. But overall, I would say the articulation on this one is pretty good. That's my review. Overall, I think this is probably one of the better figures in the series. The likeness, again, is not 100% to the actor, but I think it's decent enough. And then for a smaller figure, it does have good articulation, and the detail is pretty nice. And then most of all, I really haven't had any quality control issues. So hopefully you won't either with your figure if you end up picking this one up. So this figure, along with the others in the first wave, have been hitting Barnes & Noble stores, both in their physical stores and online. They should start probably showing up at other outlets here pretty soon. Barnes & Noble had like a 30-day exclusive on these, but again, that should be running its course here pretty soon, and you should start seeing these figures at other retail outlets as well. And I've also heard, I've not seen any of the newer figures, but I've also heard that Funko has been shipping newer assortments of this first wave, where supposedly they've addressed some of the quality control issues that people have been experiencing with the first wave of figures. So you may want to even wait a little bit and see if you can get a hold of one of these later assortments that are shipping to try and avoid some of the quality control issues. Again, I've only heard that, so I can't, I haven't had any of these figures in hand, these later release figures, to specifically say that they've addressed the quality control issues. But that's what I've heard, that stores that are getting these later shipments should be getting figures that have addressed, where Funko has addressed some of these quality control issues. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll check you later.